Hey, I'm Doug Brinks. This is the Grand River Woodturners Guild, our April meeting. We welcome everybody for coming on in and tuning in today. I am the president of this organization and going to be the captain of this ship today. We have Mike Mahoney in the wings here, ready to go for our demonstration. Um, if you're watching this meeting on YouTube and want to be a member of our group, our membership is only $25 a year. So you can become a member by sending an email to our email link, which is right here on the screen. So if you want to send an email there, a request to be a member, we will get back with you directly to give you information on how you can become a member of our group to be with us every month. We have several professional turners lined up this year. Today we have Mike Mahoney, we have Cindy Droza coming up, we have Todd Rains coming up, and we're working on getting one more professional before the end of the year. So you'll definitely get your $25 worth by joining. So that is, let's see, we do have some new members. We want to welcome them all. I think we have 3 or 4 from just this past couple of weeks that are here. So welcome new members to our guild, and thanks so much for finding us. I have a few notes I want to go down. Fred Bivens. Fred, are you in the room?
I am.
Fred, I'm putting you on, okay? You are now spotlighted. Whoops, I got the wrong person. Let me, there you go. Fred, tell us about the Regional Arts Exhibition.
Okay. The Festival of the Arts in Grand Rapids annually, except for last year, has had a Regional Arts Exhibition. Well, it starts out as a competition, and I must explain, because the membership goes beyond possibly our charter. If you live in Kent or the 7 contiguous counties, you're eligible for entry into this exhibition. On our website, it lists all of those counties. So if you're outside, and I'm sorry if you're from the Kalamazoo area, Kalamazoo is not eligible. We've talked about trying to change that, but it has not happened. So this year, we started out trying to go back to a total in-person competition and exhibition. COVID had other plans. So we've decided to start our exhibition as a virtual exhibition. So starting on June 2nd, we will put up the images of those pieces that are entered and selected on our virtual exhibition. And then that'll run actually through August 15th, but the last week of June, we're going to ask people to bring their works in, and we have 5 galleries set up where we're going to have physical exhibitions, and they will start on or around July 7th and run through August 15th. One of our big goals is to get people's works in front of the public. And we work really hard. We give a lot of awards, over $10,000 worth of awards in various categories, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But we want people to buy your art. And well, we take 25%, which is not bad for if you've ever dealt with any galleries. We really push the sale of regional artists' art. So we will run, as I said, we'll run the virtual exhibition. The deadline for entry is May 4th at midnight. And then we go through the jurying process and we go through the award process. And then we will put that up. And it takes some time to do this. It seems to take longer to do it virtually than it does to actually mount a show these days. June 2nd The virtual show will go online on the festivalgr.org website. And as I said, it'll run through August 15th, and we're keeping it up while the satellite in-person shows are going on, because we want to be able to direct people from the website to what gallery space each of the pieces will be in. We have, and I'll cover those galleries right now. We have Grand Rapids Art Museum. We're going to have part of the show in their East Gallery. We're going to have some in Frames Unlimited on 28th Street. Part of it will go to Pilati Coffee and Art on Fulton Street. And we have Muse Gallery on West Leonard. So those galleries will be open, like I said, from approximately July 7th through August 15th. Now, let me talk a little bit about awards. There seem to have been some questions. Doug asked me about it. I want to clear it up. We are doing a big push on Grand River art. And I know Doug sent out the email I sent to him. So I tried to explain it in there. The Grand River art, there are awards. We have $2,000 worth of awards just for Grand River art. And that's for this year only. We'll try to get a sponsor to cover it for future years. But we're looking at approximately 10 awards out of that. And Grand River art, as a wood turner, you might think, well, how do I represent the Grand River in my art? Well, like I said, think driftwood. Turn something out of wood that grew on the banks of the Grand River, or something that floated up. It doesn't have to look like the Grand River. It just has to be associated with the Grand River. And there's a checkbox that you can put or let us know that it came from the Grand River. And we have a description box on the form as well. So you can fill that in and explain something about the piece. But you don't have to enter something as Grand River art. This show is a wide show, just like we've always had. We've just added that as a category. We again have from the Grand River Woodturners Guild, the Ron Denbroder Award. For those of you that remember Ron, he was a great guy and one of the guys that pushed really hard for the Grand River Woodturners Guild to become a reality. So before his death, I knew Ron well, and I miss him dearly every time I step into my wood shop and start up my lathe. Other awards, we have one this year, a $500 award for an educator or someone who uses their art to educate others. Now, I know this group has a lot of mentors. If you're doing that and you enter something, make sure you check that box. And we have the boxes so that we can, as we apportion things out to jurors or the people that are selecting those prizes, we can give them the pieces that that have said that they were part of that section of the process. So be sure to go through where you can check off the boxes and let us know that piece or that you fit that description, so you're eligible. Other awards, we have the Jurors Award. Each juror gives out a $500 and a $100 award. And we have, I think, close to 24 other awards from $100 to $250 that are memorial awards, that are studio awards. I give one from my studio. A number of other artists that have been involved for a long time have decided to give awards. There are memorial awards. We give one in memory of our daughter. There are a number of people who give awards in memory of family members, or like the Denbroder Award in memory of Ron Denbroder from your group, our group. I'm a member myself. So hopefully I've covered everything that you need to know. You can go, and if you've got the email, the website is in there. And I've given the URL for the site, or for the form that goes directly to the form. We were running it through, and it's still available if you just go to festivalgr.org. It's on there, but if you have trouble, you can get a hold of me. Some people have had trouble with their phones. They've tried to register online with a phone. And what's happened is when you go on the phone, you're going through the festival site, which takes you to the form site. And there's a propagation delay in there. And sometimes phones don't keep up with that. And we've had a couple of people say, hey, it keeps dropping out every time I try to register. Because if you're registering like your maximum of 3 pieces, you have to go through and put in the information for each one of those pieces. So the link that I gave in the email that Doug forwarded goes directly to the form, so it should take out any of that propagation delay. I think, done with what I have to say. If you have any questions, Doug, that's the ball's in your court.
Okay. Thanks, Fred. I did go through yesterday and submitted my application and got through it fairly easily. I did have a problem when I was putting in the description of one of my pieces, and it went long, and it went to the very right side of the where you can put it in, and it shifted everything sideways, and I couldn't see the left-hand side anymore. I had to click back in where I did all that typing and use my arrow to move the page back. And I got the page back on so I could continue filling it out. So if you have a big description, that might happen. Just use the arrows on your keyboard to move things back. Probably if you're on a phone, you can just drag it. But so anyways, I went through it yesterday, clicked on stuff. It worked pretty well. So we encourage all of our woodturners to participate in this challenge. You know, every year Fred wishes we had a few more woodturners there, and every year we try to get more of them there. So, and the Ron Denbroder is specifically for a wood turner, not necessarily a wood turner from this guild, but a wood turner. So a wood turner is going to win that $200 award. Plus, you're eligible for all the other awards. So, and then I was wondering, they have the Plein Air Art Award. If I drag my lathe out to the middle of my front yard and turn something, am I eligible for that, Fred?
You have to sign up for the Plein Air. And you know, you could drag your lathe downtown. We'll give you a spot, and you can go downtown and you can do plein air wood turning. That's
okay.
That would be okay. That's and I can send you that link too, Doug, if anybody wants.
It was in the one email, so that link's there for anybody who wants to be really adventurous. So
yeah.
All right. Moving down the list. Ron Campbell, his hands-on retreat is going on this year. It's going to be the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. He is in need of lathes. So if you have a small lathe that you can transport, he would like to borrow it for that week. And I think I don't know if he's going to have something additional for anybody who donates their lathe for that weekend, but there might be a little Benny there for you if you do that. So I know our guild, we donate our lathes for that. And in the past, he's made donations to our guild to thank us for that. So he's looking for lathes. And then on May 8th, that is our sister group, the West Michigan Woodturners in Kalamazoo. Ron is going to be doing a demonstration there of his newest tool that he's just come out with, and he's going to be doing his mindless turnings. And let's see, I have that here if I can get that up. He's going to demonstrate his mindless turnings, and hang on, I got it right here. He's going to demonstrate this, how he's been doing these with the new scraper that he has come out with. So, and he's inviting all of the members from our guild also to attend that. Not he, but Fred and Bruce from the Kalamazoo group. So if you're interested in that, we will be sending out a link. He is going to give away one of those new scrapers that he's come out with. So there will be somebody from the attendance of that day will win one of those scrapers at a later date. I think, or is there going to be, no, I'm sorry, there's going to be donations for a scraper. So people who donate for a scraper will be thrown into a pot to win one of these scrapers. So that will be on May 8th. There's going to be, you'll be seeing emails about that coming out. I think he's already got something on his Facebook page. So you might want to put that on your calendar if you're interested. That is the Saturday before our meeting. So keep that in mind. So that is both of our club minutes here. Our supplies are open if you need supplies. Everything you buy in the next week, you can pick up next Saturday between 9 and 9:30 at the Guild or at the Jam downtown. I'm above it. I'm on top of the Anthony Millworks building right now. So they're below me. You can come down next week and pick your stuff up. We still have some burros there. We sold a few of them, but there's still a couple left for all the people who complain I never get a burro. So now I think we're going to jump into show and tell. If you have a show and tell, you can raise your hand. If you sent me a picture, I'm going to show those and I'll call your name as I go through them here. I think my computer has put them in alphabetical order, so you can kind of get an idea when you're coming up. If you're not on my list, then you can raise your hand or just say, hey, I've got something. I hear somebody saying something.
Just a quick question. Are we doing a special drawing for show and tell?
Yes, we are. You're going to handle that, right, Dave?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I needed to be.
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
spot
get your
there,
pencil
so.
out. Yeah, get
All
your
right,
pencil
thanks.
out because I've got a few pictures on my computer. So yeah, we'll be doing a special raffle for people who participate into the show and tell here.
Doug,
Yes,
I sent my pictures this morning, so I don't
got
know if you got them. Okay.
I got them. Yep. You're the last ones that came through. So everybody after that, I have not opened my email since 8:03. So if you've sent something after that, I did not get it. So let's start let's start our show and tell. And this is something that I just finished up this past week. And I sure wish Ted was in the room here. I did not see him come in here. Ted Heisinger, are you here from Kalamazoo? I don't
think he's here.
Yes, he is. Ted's here.
Who is he?
Yes.
Ted, you challenged me about 4 months ago when you were showing one of your Scandinavian drinking vessels with the two handles to make a vase or a hollow form in that style. So this is what I came up with. It took me a couple months to complete it. But it's a hickory barrel that I did. It's hollow, and I put the.
And as soon as you,
Go ahead, Ted.
I'm going to say it looks nice. My initial reaction is that maybe the next challenge is to move that handles down to the upper portion of the vase. But I like the idea.
I actually took advice from one of our previous demonstrations about sketching, and I sketched this out 3 different ways and decided from my sketches that I liked this way the most, although it's probably not authentic for a Scandinavian drinking vessel because I think their handles were flush with the top. But I actually like the way this looked. And this is one of my entries into the regional arts competition. So I was pretty happy with the way that turned out. So let's see, those are mine. Oh, I also have this one I finished up in the last week, and I'd started this and it was kind of still just round and I hadn't figured out how to do this burrow. And I was in like a coffee meeting with a couple other members, and Ron Campbell was there and he suggested that I do a sphere with it. And I didn't want to do a rounded bottom. So I did kind of like, a sphere, like, yeah, just like an orb there. So that was kind of what I came up with that. So that was there's the backside of it. That's a cherry burl. So let's see. Next up, we have John Behrens. Don.
Hey, Doug,
Yeah.
does your drinking vessel leak?
Yeah, this is a drinking vessel for an alcoholic.
Just wondering.
Yes, those holes go through. Yeah, that's very porous. So, yeah, John Behrens, are you here?
Yes.
Tell us what we got here.
Okay. That the tall thing there, that's a cherry vessel. It looks pretty straight, but it is actually tapered a little bit. The photo doesn't really show that. Probably should have had more of a curve and taper towards the top, but it's about 16 inches tall total. It's I turned it at about I don't know, 3/16 sidewall thickness. And it was pretty challenging at the bottom. I almost blew the bottom out of it, reaching in that deep. But and then those boxes there, I last month I mentioned the Rose engine I was building. I got that complete, and these are the first things I did on it. Probably should be just practicing on wood, but I wanted to try to put it on a box. And here's a little plug for Mike. I just started some hand chasing. Thread chasing, and I did get my hands on a Carter Mike Mahoney signature thread chasing tool, and I got to tell you guys, it's pretty nice. These are just the first two things I did, and the one on the right opens and closes really well. So they're not quite completely finished, but I just wanted to show what I'm up to now.
Very nice. So Mike owes you like $10 for that plug.
That's right.
Hey, is this the Rose engine? Did you start this with George Armstrong in our club like 5 or 6 years ago?
I did. He had all those components machined, and I bought the kit from him, and I started to make it. This goes back at least 3 years. And I started the thing, and you know how it is. You put stuff off into the corner and forget about it, and dust piles up on it. And I wasn't real inspired this winter, so I thought I'm going to pull that out and work on that. And I spent took a couple trips down to George's, and he helped me out immensely, because by the time I got back to it, I couldn't remember what this thing, the instructions weren't the greatest, but it turned out really well. I'm pleased with it. It was good visiting George too, and not seeing him in a long time.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to see one of those got completed. This was on my old business on my agenda for about 1.5 years, and I finally just.
Oh, really?
I kept bringing it up at every meeting. Every meeting I brought it up. Anybody finished one of those Rose engines yet? Nobody did. Finally, I got tired to bring it up. So
I guess kind of one of them forgettable things, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, glad to see there's one done. All right, let's next up we've got this is Brian Sinclair. Are you there, Brian? Unmute your mic and tell us about your piece.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Morning.
Every time I feel like practicing my spindle work, I manage to throw a piece of wood on and try to turn a goblet out of it. Usually they end up being given away or end up in the wood pile, but my wife kind of liked this one. I wish I'd made the bead a little bit more definite, but I think altogether this was 6 inches high. So it's just a piece of scrap wood I took when I took a pallet apart, and it's just for one of the stringers. So I have no idea what wood this is, but it's free, so it was pretty good.
Very nice. You have another one, right? Here you go.
Yeah. It's not often my wife asks me to make something specifically, but she wanted me to make a little tray to put our keys and sunglasses on when we come in the door. So this is a piece of white oak that someone had left on our draw table out at my club meeting, and it had a couple of cracks in it. So it originally started out as 14 inches in diameter, this piece of wood, and this is finally down to 8 inches, where I just had a couple little cracks I had to fill with CA. Nothing special with the finish. It's just some polish on there. And I really like the way the wood grain popped out on it.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, next up, we've got Don Zenas. I seen you in the room, Don. Unmute your
Hi.
mic.
Hi.
Tell us,
It's a piece of yellow locust. My grandson chop down trees for a living, and he got me a piece of this. And I brought a piece into one of the meetings when we were still having live meetings for the auction. So someone else probably has this, but the wood is real pretty. It's about 8 inches tall and maybe 7 inches wide. I work through at Evergreen Commons, and our wood shop has been closed for the duration. It just opened recently. So I did the turning before, but then I did the embellishment at home. And it's all, the pyrography is done with just a little ball and just making random things. I grow some orchids, so I drew the orchids on there and outlined it with a pyrography, and then used acrylic paints to
Shoot.
paint the.
Hang on. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, the pyrography was watching a lot of night baseball games and sitting making dots with the thing, and
Wow.
I outlined with flowers and then painted them with acrylics, and used there's a iridescent white that I mixed with some of the colors to sort of fill the pores and to bring out the glossiness of the flowers.
Very nice. Very nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the embellishment on that. It's really well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like the shading in the flowers, a really nice job there.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, this is Doug Scharf. Are you here, Doug?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Tell us about your piece.
This is a challenge piece. I have a couple of friends. We give each other pieces that, should you turn it? Should you scrap it? What should you do with it? This was an ambrosia maple burl. That was about a 400-pound burl, and we kept pulling chunks out of it. The more we pulled out of it, the bigger the holes were. So this was my challenge, and 3 years later, here it is.
Very nice. Nice job. What
Thank
finish? What finish do you have on there?
That is Parfix 3408, and it's
Okay.
not buffed out yet.
Okay, that's a new one to me. I'm not familiar with that.
I'll let you know about it because you want to try it and you want to use it.
Yeah, I'm kind of would like to do a finish demonstration later this year, and we probably want you to talk about that
Okay.
when we
No
work
problem.
that out. So, all right, very nice.
Thank you.
Is this yours too?
That's also mine. It was just a kind of cool piece of wood that I found. It was faulted maple, and I made a little dish out of it.
Yeah, it looks like it's part burl, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. This is Jeff Heidela. Jeff, are you here? Jeff Heidela, did you make it today? Oh, I don't see him in the room. Must be he. Oh, yeah, he is. Jeff, you're there. You don't have a camera. Can you unmute your mic, Jeff, and tell us about this piece? Jeff? It looks like it's segmented. Apparently Jeff is having problems, or he doesn't hear us. All right, well, that's Jeff's piece. So we'll move on down to the next one I have. Lori Lukic.
I was gonna send you a pronunciation. It's Luchak.
Luchak, okay. All right, tell us about your piece here, Lori.
So this is a piece of wood that I was given. I think it's maple of some sort. It's the biggest bowl that I've turned so far. And I had some issues when I was turning it and it cracked. And so there are additional pictures where, so I filled it with, or I coated the inside of it with epoxy. You can see the crack in this picture.
Mhm.
And so I had some epoxy, so I coated the inside of it with some epoxy. I tried to add some pigment, but it sort of all fell to the bottom. And this is the biggest piece I'm able to turn on my lathe, or at least finish with it's also the first time I ever used coal jaws to turn off the tenon at the bottom.
Okay, very nice. Congratulations on your biggest piece.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Terry Leafers. Terry, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Tell us about your piece, Terry.
This is a piece of apple. I think I got it from Ray Laninga last August, and this is the first piece that I turned thin when it was green and just let it dry naturally. And it really turned out some nice humps and bumps and a little bit different, out of round shapes. One of my favorite pieces so far. Favorite
Very
bowls.
nice. Yep, very
And
nice.
it had a crack in the pith area there that kind of warped to one side, but it was still a little bit dry or a little bit wet. So I put a C-clamp on it and brought it back in line with the rim. And after it dried, it stayed there. So
Okay.
it's only a couple inches tall.
Okay, nice. Nice job. Okay, next up, I have Nate Scovey. Nate, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Tell us about your piece.
So, I just picked up some free firewood on the side of the road, and this is what I came up with. First big bowl that I've turned, and there's actually another one from the first live edge as well. Not sure what the wood is. It was just in a firewood pile.
Yep, and you have a shop smith.
And yes, that's what I turn on.
Nothing wrong with that. A lot of
So-
us started with shop smiths.
Yep, I'm looking at getting the Rikon, but right now this is what I'm turning with. So doing the bottoms are very fun, trying to do anything with the bottom, but it's a learning curve.
Yep. Nice job.
Thank
Is that
you.
the same one?
Yeah,
that's the
that's the
same one.
inside.
There's the inside. That looks like
Yep.
it's
And I-
looks like ambrosia there.
Yep, I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure what it is. And it's actually the same, they're the two halves of the log. There's this one, and then the next picture's a live edge. So, and I finally learned how to do the live edge. So I'm pretty proud of getting it to actually come out right.
Yeah, if you pick that ambrosia up from the side of the road, I'd go back and get some more.
I don't know if he's got any more. He's a tree cutter, and this was his cutoffs. So he splits
Yeah.
it all up for firewood down in Kalamazoo.
Okay. And something I forgot to mention earlier, somebody showed the locust that they used, and we have a person in Grand Rapids who cut down a locust tree, and we're going to send out a link this afternoon. If anybody who wants to get some of that from her can contact her and pick up some locusts. We also have a person in Grand Rapids with a maple tree down, a very large maple tree. If somebody wants to go and get that, we're going to send that link out this afternoon for people who want to go and get some of that.
Hey, Doug,
Nate,
if somebody wants to come to Kalamazoo, I've got a whole pile of honey locust that was given to me.
Okay.
That
All
I'd
right.
love to share with people.
All right, that's Bruce Dannenhauer. So I might have to make a trip down there. I need some different kinds of wood. Okay, this is your third. Is this the same picture there, Nate, or is this a different one?
No, that's the live edge. So that's
Okay.
from the other half of the bowl.
Oh, okay.
So the other half of the blank.
All right.
So, and that's the first live edge that I actually was able to get completely completed. Usually
Yeah.
I blow out the bottoms.
Very, very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next up, is this the same one? Oh, here's another one, same one. I didn't realize you had so
No,
many
that's
pictures.
yeah, that's the live edge.
Okay.
There was 4 pictures, sorry.
Yeah, very
but
nice.
That's the what it actually looked like. So thank you.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Ron Van Hofwegen. Ron, are you here?
Sorry guys, sharing something personal for you, but I'm doing this. I love this Cocobolo wood. And there's a piece of Piccati wood too that actually had a little like a bullseye target, just natural wood. I'm just learning how to do all this. I paid about 30 cents for customers. Gave us, they thank you.
Okay. Very, very nice. Nice job on the ink pens. All right. Next up, this is Todd Melema. Todd, are you here?
I am.
And I think you have 4 pictures, right?
Yeah, and they're all of the
Okay.
same.
Okay. Yep.
I had this big piece of crotch of black walnut, and it just barely fit on my 16-inch lathe, and I kept on having to cut the corners off with a chainsaw as it was kind of lathed up, but wanted to keep as much wood as possible, so ended up with kind of this flat platter live edge bowl that's about, I don't know if it's a bowl or a platter, and you'll see a couple of cracks in there I had to fill in with CA glue, but it's about 15.5 inches across. It pretty much maxed out the lathes, but ended up really getting one of my favorite pieces that I've done. And it's just kind of a interesting piece that my wife actually allows me to keep sitting out in the living room, which to me is a sign that it's good, because usually they closet. So yeah, just kind of a fun, interesting piece. I wanted to keep as much of the wood as possible just because it was gorgeous, and was real happy. And it was a little wet.
What's the finish?
You know, this is when I used the what is it called? Where you have the wax and the 3 different on your lathe, you're spinning it. The
Shine juice.
Yeah. And
French
so,
polish. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was, yeah, so it wasn't real, you know, just started with some Danish oil and then just did kind of one of those wax finishes on top of it. So it's not super shiny, and it was a little wet, so it keeps on kind of warping and changing a little bit over time. And it's turned out, it's pretty. So,
yeah.
Let me share.
Oh, nice piece.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Now that concludes the pictures I have. So now we're going to go to the room. I see we have a few people with their hands up. So let's start with Ruby. You're on, Ruby. Tell us what you have. You're still muted.
Unmute your mic.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Got a couple pieces, except that I can't turn my,
There you go.
Professor now at Georgetown School of Foreign Service. So it's great to see you at this very interesting moment. Let's look at this.
Yeah. So did you, how much of that did you turn? Is that like, how'd you make that, Ruby? Your mic's muted, Ruby. Unmute your mic.
okay, the pulleys on the back are turned, and I found by varying the diameters of the pulleys, I could affect the speed of the turning. And then the other thing I'll show you are my tennis balls. And the one on the left here is what it looks like complete. And on the right, when you open it up, that's what you end up with.
Huh.
So it has a little secret box inside.
Very cool.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any particular reason you're trying to hypnotize us all?
I was just relaxing you for when you go to Mike's demos, so that you'll be ready to watch them.
So there's no subliminal message going on right now. Send me your money. I want
Well,
your money.
if you want to, I won't say no.
Yeah, that's a cool piece. That's a cool piece. So.
Yeah, they've always fascinated me, and when I finally got the plans to make one, I couldn't wait to do it.
Yeah, that's really neat. Okay.
Ruby's got so I was going to say, Ruby's got a short little video on her YouTube channel on how she takes that tennis ball apart. It'll be interesting. It's interesting to see that.
If
Okay.
you like in the chat, I'll put the link for that.
Yeah, please do.
She's Ruby is set to do a demonstration for us, I think in July. And I need to get with my demonstrate team, the team that sets all up, and decide what we want Ruby to do, because she's got so many things now that every month there's something different that, oh, maybe we want to do that. So
No, the tennis balls in particular would take too long.
okay. All right.
All right.
All right. Very cool.
I'm getting the munchies just looking at this thing.
All right.
then
Next.
I'll put you back on the balls.
Okay. All right. Next up, I have Jay Penfield. What do you got, Jay?
So I'm going to have two pieces here to show. I turn my camera around if I can do that. Let's see how it works here. There we go. First piece is a play off the last month. We talked about the piece with the wood in the middle, lost wood process.
Yep.
And for the DAW club, they wanted feet. So I took the same piece and I used it for both clubs, and it's still a work in progress. I still had some work to do to it. I just want to share how I put the feet on there to make that work. And it's almost finished. But this piece I just started working with this last week. This is the thinnest goblet I've made so far. It's a piece of box elder. And I like the way the wood came out, the grain on it. And the where the pith is just off center. So I was able to get the stem without any pith in it. So it was really good. And this is really, really, really thin. It's like maybe a little more than 1/16 at the top and just a little over 1/16 at the bottom. It's real consistent in the thickness. So I was real pleased with this one.
Very nice.
Yep.
Okay. Next up, I have got Rick Havens. Rick, what do you have for us?
Hear me?
Yep, you're on.
All right. I have, I was playing around with maple, and this is a silver maple, and it's a 10-inch bowl, and I decided to try the dirty pour acrylic embellishing technique on the bottom of it. Instead of doing it on a flat platter, I decided to try to do it on a curved surface, and so that's what I've done.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, very nice. Nice job on that.
Did you have much problem doing the dirty pour on that, Rick?
The first couple, this is actually the third attempt. The first two pours, I didn't like how they looked, so I wiped them off and then redid it. So other than trying it 3 times, no.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. Next up, I've got Jim Pearson. Jim, what do you have for us?
Okay, you've unloaded me. Okay. This is kind of a simple bulb that I made here a few weeks back, but it's the wood is called mango, and I hadn't come across it before. I picked up this blanket at Woodcraft, and I just really like how the texture came out. I don't know if for those who haven't turned mango before, and this is the first time I've come across it. It has a porosity like oak, as if the best I can describe it. And I was really thinking while I was turning it that this was not going to come out well at all, but it sanded up beautiful. I love the grain. And I realized that's a personal taste kind of thing. But boy, I tell you what, it came out well. And Nate, I did turn that on a Shopsmith. So.
All right. Very nice.
That's awesome.
Nice job.
Like it, Jim.
Pardon?
I like it.
Oh, thank you, Bruce. Well, I had an excellent teacher, so we'll just leave it at that.
All right. Next up, I've got Robert Elliott. What do you have, Robert?
Yeah, I enjoy doing weird stuff, and I've done enough urns, but I've had a request for some wooden candles, and I've been playing with that idea, and I got some lumber branch tree, and it's just something different, except I like the dollar store electric candles in them.
Nice.
And the person that wanted them now wants a dozen, and has given me some of the wood that they want done with, though I've got to, it's an experiment to raise the flame up a bit. But this is from their yard, and that's what they wanted, something from their yard to, it was their grandfather who passed away with COVID, his house. So they brought me a bunch of wood to make something, and it was just branches from the trees that he'd planted. So that's something different.
Yeah.
Glad to see you
Yeah.
out of the hospital too. Welcome home.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I went back last week for a checkup, and the heart specialist said, well, give me another 2 weeks and wearing a monitor, and we'll talk again.
Great to see you at home.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Dave Curley, did you have something?
That wasn't me. That was another Dave. I was wondering.
Okay. Do you have something or not? No?
I don't know.
Okay.
I
let
had
me-
something.
You do, Bruce? Okay, let me you're on, Bruce.
The this cold weather's pushed me back into the shop. Every Easter, I try to make a new Easter basket for my wife. This is kind of a wood that I've never used before, and I don't know where to get more of it. It was described as bird's eye ipe. And it's dense, it's heavy, it's hard as stone. But it polishes up just so beautiful. The finish on this is beeswax, just burnished into it. And it's about 5 inches in diameter. And she doesn't eat chocolate, but she likes macadamia nuts, so it was full of macadamia nuts for Easter.
Nice. Very nice. Who else has something? Okay, Dave Dave Miller. Yeah, let me find you, Dave. You must be the person that just says Dave.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There you go. All right. You're
Well,
on,
my
Dave.
neighbor, her kids had this platter made, a snack platter, but she was upset that it didn't have a lip on it. So I glued up some walnut and made a ring for it, but not being able to measure it across, I got it as close as I thought, and I thought, well, it needs just a little bit more. And when I took the little bit more off, it was too much. So what I ended
You've
up
never
doing
done that. How'd
was
you do that? We've never done that.
getting some birch veneer and iron that on the inside. And now it fits just perfect, and it kind of added a nice little design feature. So that's what I have.
All right. Very nice. Who else has something? Wave your hand. I'm looking at everybody on the screen here. Anybody else has anything?